and I feel like if I hold my fingers up, a kestrel might come and land on my hands. Like a spiral. Oh, I quite like that idea. I've seen this on Instagram where you can train them into shapes. This is my gardening toxic trait, that I don't ever look after my tools and I just buy a new pair. I know that's really bad. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sophie and today is rose pruning day. This is a job that I have been putting off for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I can't put it off anymore. It's dry, it's not too cold, my kids don't need me. Well, I can see one at the window. What does he want? And I'm about to get my big thick leather gloves so that my rose isn't going to spike me, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So with rose pruning, so it is February now, you need to think about what sort of rose you've got. If it is a shrub rose, now is the time to be pruning it. If it is a climber or a rambler, you might be wanting to tie in some of that growth. So if you've got a climbing or a rambling rose, you absolutely do not want to go hacking it back to the bottom. Don't do that. So just make sure that you are pruning it in the right way. Now, the things that you need to look out for when you're pruning roses is anything that's dead. And I will show you in a minute what that looks like. So anything that's dead, you need to be taking off. Usually this time of year, it's very obvious because it will be brown or black and you just need to snip that straight off. You also need to be looking out for any stems which are crossing and rubbing. You need to be removing any that are rubbing or crossing because you don't want that. And any that are looking diseased. And when it comes to pruning, like a climbing rose, you just want to reduce any growth at the ends that looks a bit skinny and a bit pathetic. And then it will be in about March, April time that I will liquid feed my rose. I also have got a granular feed that I bought from David Austin actually, which I've just remembered, that popped in my head, which is actually an annual feed. I think I did that in April. So sprinkled it down, and then that was the feed for the year. So that was quite good. But it is a good time to be mulching your roses now with well-rotted manure, just to make sure that they're really getting nutrients. If your rose has got lots of new growth, which it might well have, don't worry, you can still prune it. Pruning is really important. Don't worry about the growth. Snip it off and it will grow back. It is also still time to be ordering and planting any bare root roses. So don't panic. If you thought that you'd ordered one or you'd planned to add a new rose to the garden, don't worry. I actually got roses from my boys last year for Mother's Day, so that was March. Bought them as bare root and I still got flowers the same year. So don't panic, you haven't left it too late. These are the gloves of dreams. Roses obviously are really spiky, some more so than others. One of my roses, Gabriel Oak, is so spiky, I can't even tell you. Anyway, these gloves, they were actually a gift sent to me over on Instagram. The brand is No Cry, and they're brilliant. And I feel like if I hold my fingers up, a kestrel might come and land on my hands. So yeah, these are brilliant for rose pruning because it protects your arms as well. Roses are spiky, be careful. I have got various different roses in my garden, but this is the one that we're going to be looking at first. So this is Gertrude Jekyll, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it is a David Austin rose. Now, interesting fact about this one, it can be grown as a climber or a shrub. So all of their roses are tested to see how they can perform, and this one can be grown as both. Now, I want fence coverage with this rose, so you can kind of see how I've started the process of training it into like a fan shape. You can see that the stems are all kind of fanning out a little bit. Now, when it comes to pruning a climbing rose, you don't want to be doing a hard prune like you would with a shrub rose. You just want to be tying in your growth and kind of creating your shape and your structure. Now you can see all of the new shoots that are coming off that stem, and part of that stem is fine, but the end is a little bit weedy, so we're going to be trimming off the end bits. And then you'll see here that I've got kind of like a main stem up the middle, and that's a really good size, so I want to keep that. But But what you can see here, which we need to take out, is can you see where I've got some stems crossing? Let me move that bamboo cane out of the way. But you can see here I've got some stems crossing over. You don't want any stems that are crossing over. That's not what we want. So I'm going to need to take that one out, which will take that out of the equation. And actually they aren't growing at the best position either, but I think I'll be able to train that one out. So yeah, you don't want any crossing over. And then anything like this, which is dead, you can see that's dead, is brown, that needs taking out. So the things that you're looking for is crossing stems, anything dead, and then anything weedy like this. And I think, I don't know if it's on the David Austin website or somewhere, I've heard that, you know, a stem that is weedy like that and thinner than a pencil, you should prune right back. So that doesn't look like the best stem. But you can really see that with training and tying in, you're going to get yourself a lovely shape. Now I've got another rose over here, which is called Gabriel Oak. Now this one is a shrub rose, and I actually did ask a David Austin expert if this could be grown as a climber, and they said you can kind of see how it goes, but really it's better as a shrub rose. So you can see that lots of these stems are really thin, so that's gonna need cutting back quite a bit. This one's got quite long, but it's a bit thin. This one's a bit thin. That back one actually is a little bit thicker, so I might try and train that one in and see what happens. But you know, they are the experts, and these roses are grown in a certain way. You know, they are bred to be reliable shrub roses, which is what this one is, and this isn't ever going to be a climber. So I just have to make sure I do the right thing for the rose. It just means I have to be mindful of what I plant in front of it, because it's not the biggest rose, which means I can't have really tall things in front of it, because then I would not be able to see its beauty. Then I have added in some extra roses in the autumn. I've got one down there and I've got one in here. Now that is a climber. Is it a climber or is it a rambling? I think it's a climber. I can see the tag. I'll have a look at that in a second. But so that I've got to cover this bit of fence and to spread a little bit over there as well. And then I've got a clematis in there. So I kind of really, my goal was to get a lot more fence coverage in this area. So that clematis is spectacular and I absolutely love it. But I really wanted this mass of fence to have more coverage. So that was my goal. That was like my 3-year plan. So this is year 2 of the plan. So I'm hoping by next year it will be even better. That's the idea. And then the rose that I've put in the middle there, I want to get a structure in the middle of the border, just so that it can be a real feature in the center of that border. That's the plan. And then over here in this border is my David Austin Olivia, Olivia Rose Austin. So I've added 2 of those, planted them in the autumn, around October time I think. But look at all of that lush new growth. Now these came as a bare root, so I just planted them straight away. But again, you're looking for anything that you might need to take out. So I can see that the tip of that is dead, so I'll just nip that off. I've got another bit of dead stem in there, which I'll nip off. And that is it. Here we go. I have actually started this a little bit already, so I can show you. Can you see how thin that is? Like, even though it's got growth, that doesn't matter. It's going to grow loads, but you don't want thin, skinny little stems like that. So I'm going to start over on this one here. So I'm gonna, I don't even know if I've got any string, but it would be really good to tie that in. Although the other thing I had thought about was spinning it like a spiral. Oh, I quite like that idea. I've seen this on Instagram where you can train them into shapes. Oh, shall I do that? Okay, I'm gonna get some string. Be right back. Okay, she's back. I've got a second pair of blunt secateurs. Like, this is my gardening toxic trait, that I don't ever look after my tools and I just buy a new pair. I know that's really bad. I'm going to go on Amazon and look for some, like a proper sharpening stone. I bought a cheap one and it was rubbish. But maybe if I teach myself to look after them, then I won't have this problem of them all being blunt. And also, I probably shouldn't cut wire with them either. Anyway, I need a bit of wire for this job. So I'm going to snip a little bit, tie that rose in. Where did that go? Okay, one length, that should be enough. And then I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for the fancy swirl. It already looks quite good, doesn't it? The thing is, I just don't want to waste all this growth. What do we reckon? Like that? That looks quite nice, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put, that's all right there. I'm going to put one bit of wire. I mean, you can probably literally only see my bum. I need really to get a child to come and help film these videos, so it's better, but I think you'll be able to get the gist. Okay, so I'm just twisting the wire. This is why I love having wires on my fence, by the way. Okay, so twist that. Oh my god, this is going to be like one of those things, I know it's going to work out so well. Right, I need another bit of wire. Either that, and that's the thing about gardening, if it doesn't work out, then I can just prune it. So it's either going to be amazing or it's going to be one of those you shouldn't have done that moments. So we'll see. But let's hope it's a good one. Right, so I'm twisting that. And then I'm going to tie it in there. I don't really know what I do with a thin spindly end. Oh, I've got something on the back of my neck. It feels like I'm being stung. Oof, it was my chain pulling a neck hair. That would not feel nice. Right, okay. We're on. And then I don't really know what I do with that bit. Oh no, this wire's not so good. It's not like tight enough. I need the rubberized one. I don't think I've got any of that left. Damn it. Oh, I've just spotted a bit. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, no, not my knitwear. This is like rubberized wire and it's really grippy. I need to get another roll of that. I get it from Home Bargains. It's maybe £4, but you'll see what I mean. It grips as well as holds in. Maybe I should have just used that in the first place. There we go. That's better. Oh my god, look how good that looks. I love it. So then as it grows, I guess I can have that go behind. Okay, that looks good. I'm pleased with that. It goes against what I've said about needing to take out the spindly bits because I'm just twisting them in. But if it doesn't work, I can always cut it out. Right, I just need to be treading so carefully. I hate this because I don't know what I'm standing on. Right, so do I need to twist that one in the same way? So that's twisting out and around. Out and around. Okay, so that is there. I mean, it just looks like Mickey Mouse ears. Is that the look I was going for? I don't even know. It's me, Mickey. That looks awful. I'm gonna take the height of this one down because that is a skinny little one. That one's crossing over. That's got to go. Yeah, that's okay, I think. I mean, that one's a little bit skinny. I'm going to nip that one off there. That looks absolutely awful. It looks like an upside down something naughty. It's literally like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know what I think about that. Anyway, enough of silly rose pruning with fancy things. I'm just going to prune the way I know. So it's much easier to do a shrub rose because, well, you're just looking for the same things like any crossing over, but you're just taking the size right down just to give it a bit of a tidy. Yeah, that looks a little bit spindly, so let's take that down to there. I think I'm gonna go harder. Go big or go home, right? Your stems are weedy, it's not going to be able to hold very big flowers, is it? So that does still look like a really decent stem. I'm going to nip that off to there. Too late now, I've done it. Stem, I'm going to nip that off to there. Too late now, I've done it. Whoops. So then I'm looking at the shape of it, and you always want it to be quite open. So you don't want any crossing. You want the branches to be all open. So there's lots of air, and it does look quite open now. I bet you're really glad you stopped by to watch this rose pruning video. I bet it's filled you with such confidence, and you you know exactly what you're going to be doing in your garden. I bet you're really glad you stopped by to watch this rose pruning video. I bet it's filled you with such confidence, and you you know exactly what you're going to be doing in your garden. But it's the reality, and this sort of thing happens to me all the time. Oh, I'm a procrastinator. That's what I was going to say. I procrastinate about everything. So I think about things, doubt myself, I'm unsure. I just procrastinate all the time. So yeah, I don't know if I've made the right choice. And I'm now looking at that other rose, which looks interesting. For watching, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more garden craziness, and hit the bell if you would like to be notified of my latest videos. And I will see you again soon.